Councillor Perks, questions?
Thank you. To the City Manager. I'm looking at page 14 of your slide presentation, which identifies 3 core sets of risk. In this year's budget, I want to focus on 2 of them that you highlighted. One is the pressure that results from one-time bridging strategies. What's the dollar value in this year's budget of bridging strategies?
$88 million.
$88 million, and that's principally from what sources?
The largest source of that is $72 million from the TCHC, which is basically deferral of 2 expenditure pressures. One, contribution to their ongoing capital maintenance, $54 million, and then $18 million contribution for a debt repayment sinking fund.
On that, I don't know. I'm curious. I've seen press reports that Toronto Community Housing is saying that their capital money runs out very soon and that they will have to start closing units because they are simply unable to pay for repairs. That's 2018, if I recall correctly?
So we're okay for 2017,
right?
But I believe what you heard the CEO of TCHC say that 7,000 units would have to be closed by, I believe it was 2021, if we don't stay on that $2.6 billion 10-year plan, which was predicated on federal and provincial funding. So if somebody doesn't come to the table, units will be closed.
And the $72 million that you've just described as a bridging strategy here, that was money that was specifically allocated to prevent the closure of units by being able to reinvest in the capital of TCHC buildings. That's what that was for.
In essence, yes.
Yes, thank you.
Managed through additional borrowing in 2017, but 18 is going to be a big pressure.
Okay. The next one that is highlighted, the risk, is the MLTT reliance. If I'm correct, the amount we're getting this year from MLTT is, what, 4 or 5 times as much as we're getting from the property tax? Something like that?
It's $184 million, so if you go back to slide 14.
So 3.5 times as much as we're getting out of the residential property rate in that neighborhood.
Yes, when you go back to slide 11, yes.
Okay. So between the fact that we're not contributing to the capital account that would make sure that we're not closing housing units starting next year, and the fact that we are relying to an enormous extent on the continued boom in the real estate market, would you say that this year's budget, for those 2 reasons, increases the amount of risk we have of running into severe problems in the near term over the amount of risk we had in last year's budget?
I think, as through you, Madam Speaker, as Peter, as the City Manager said, there is this increasing reliance on the real estate market. And as we, increase $184 million in MLTT revenues, that does increase your exposure and then consequently your risk of any downturn or even a flattening of those revenue sources to try to meet 2018 pressures. So I would say.
So if I wanted to decrease the amount of risk that we're going to run into either some kind of fiscal crisis because of a change in the real estate market or because we were suddenly going to be faced with an extreme capital need that we haven't prepared for at Toronto Community Housing, increasing the property tax base would be a strategy for reducing that risk. Is that correct?
That would be one of the tools available to Council, but that's a policy decision.
Thank you very much.